Today's movie takes us into the cinematic sewer, literally. Welcome to Sick Flicks, where I take a deep dive into the cinematic sewer to help you embrace your inner gore geek. I'm Mike Bracken, aka the Horror Geek, and today we're exploring Douglas Cheek's cult classic, Chud. Released in 1984, Chud has gone on to become a cult favorite. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure why. Personally, I've always found Chud to be one of those films where the idea, that underground mutants are eating homeless folks, is better than the actual execution. Chud has the crazy premise of something like street trash, but it plays things way too serious for most of the film. I don't hate it, but it feels like such a missed opportunity. But enough about that. Can Chud slaughter enough people to fill 5 barf bags with body parts? Let's get to the gore and find out. Oh, and before we get started, today's video is sponsored by Magic Spoon. I was a real serial killer back in my younger days. Wait, I meant breakfast cereal. As a powerlifter, I eat a very regimented diet with specific macros to hit every day, and needless to say, the sugar and carb levels in the cereals I ate while watching Saturday morning cartoons are not part of a successful weightlifter meal plan. The sugary cereals had to go. Sometimes you just have to make sacrifices. But then I heard about Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon has taken all those sugary cereals I devoured as a kid and made them healthy and delicious. Just look at these nutrition facts for the Magic Spoon Variety Pack. Magic Spoon cereals have 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. They also have only 140 calories per serving. And they're also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. Best of all, they taste great. I've been eating their fruity flavor for weeks, and it's delicious. I eat it at breakfast or in the evening when I'm watching movies. It's like a trip down memory lane back to my childhood. Are you ready to try Magic Spoon? Well, you're in luck because I've got a deal for you. Click the link below to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use the promo code HorrorGeek at checkout to get $5 off any order. Or go to magicspoon.com/HorrorGeek. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. So click the link below and use the code HorrorGeek for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/HorrorGeek to save $5 today. Thanks again to Magic Spoon for sponsoring today's video. And now, let's get bloody. We open on the credits. This movie must have broke Andrew Bonamy because he gave up producing after this. Not a single IMDb credit after Chud. This didn't kill John Hurd's career though. He was great in After Hours, but pretty much everybody remembers him for being Kevin McAllister's dad in the first 2 Home Alone movies. Speaking of Home Alone, this is a real cast reunion here. Here's Daniel Stern. I sure hope the soundtrack features one of Joe Pesci's raps. With the credits over, we fade in on a Manhattan street. I hear you need to put down a $6,000 deposit just to walk down this street nowadays. Man, I think the Ninja Turtles are burning some devil's lettuce tonight. They're getting a great draw. And jump scare. They're probably just taking her to one of those After Hours underground clubs. Fun fact, that's Daniel Stern's actual wife is the victim. And it's nice to see we spared no expense on this title graphic. Yeah, just stencil it on. No one will care. After some more credits, we're joined by Henry Rollins rehearsing his latest spoken word show. Oh god, the credits are about to get swept up by the street sweeper. Look out! Directed by Douglas Cheek. This is the last feature film Douglas would direct. I'm beginning to wonder what kind of trauma the filming of Chud caused. Douglas mostly edits TV documentaries now, and none of them are about Chuds. Thanks to this expository voicemail, we learn that John Hurd's character is a professional photographer who has a hard time meeting deadlines.
Just give me any pictures. I don't care what they are.
All right, Derek. You made your point.
His boss needs him to get into those sewers to find subterranean bums and get pictures of them. He's like J. Jonah Jameson looking for Spider-Man. Well, no wonder he misses deadlines. He's got a half-naked model girlfriend running around his apartment.
Why are you putting makeup on your ass?
Because it's where the pimple is.
George does finally answer the phone. It's Child Protective Services. Look, I don't even have a son named Kevin, and I definitely did not leave him home alone. Downstairs, his girlfriend is rummaging around in her box.
Hell yeah.
No, not like that, you pervs. I mean, she's looking for things in an actual box. This rummaging is interrupted by a strange noise. Probably just a giant rat. I'm really amazed the New York City Tourism Board didn't use this movie to promote the city. You can practically smell the trash right through the screen. Over in the Hill Street Blues precinct, Captain Dirtstash reprimands the nearest beat cop for trying to do some work. He knows it's a Sick Flicks tradition for the police force to do as little as possible. After that, he's accosted by this reporter who's there to ask some questions about all the disappearances down by John Hurd's place. But he's not interested. I mean, something might happen if he followed these leads. With all that procedural crap out of the way, we head back to John Hurd pouting about his career.
Whose idea was this anyway? What genius came up with this concept to sell this perfume today?
Man, he's being such a chud. While John goes outside to cool off, we rejoin Detective Cliff Clavin, who's just picked up a missing persons case. He's going to be hot on the trail of Marv, who's finally decided to join the movie.
What is this, some kind of bad joke?
No, it's Sick Flicks. It's a series of bad jokes. Daniel Stearns hauled the detective out of the precinct to get help finding some missing persons. Whatever's in the sewers has really cut down on his breadline. Man, look at those pit stains. And no hairnet. Daniel Stearns' soup kitchen is totally screwed when the health inspector shows up. Then it's time for some exposition.
In my cellar, I got a hole broken through the wall. That hooks up with an old sewer system down there. 10, 12 of my regulars. Those are the people that disappeared.
The only underground bum left is this guy, and he's either describing the Chuds he met, or he's working on his monologue to get a bigger role in Chud 2, Bud the Chud. And then he gets real agitated.
Now listen, pal.
Man, this is how I get when I have an extra scoop of pre-workout before deadlifts. Back at the precinct, John is bailing one of his photographic subjects out. Turns out she tried to steal an officer's gun to protect herself. So far, everything is coming up monster movie. I mean, except the monsters.
Suck a duck.
One thing about these 80s movies is they sure take their sweet-ass time getting started. 20 minutes in and I haven't seen a Chud yet. And since the movie refuses to start, John's subject takes him down to Chud Town. Population, spooky Chuds, hopefully. They're being tailed by this guy, who's practically a ninja. Wow, Minnie Pearl has a tough commute. I feel like they're going to trip over One-Eyed Willie down here. I'm also 99% certain they're going to run across Vigo's Slime River at some point. Where's Peter Venkman when you need him? John doesn't want to take this adventure seriously. He better be careful. She might lead him straight to the toilet gators. Further down the pipe, John runs into George Eastman. He really is a big ape. We then get some more exposition.
We lose the mayor down there? Or the president? Or your mom disappear?
My wife.
After a lot more jibber-jabber, because goddamn does this movie love to talk, Daniel Stern decides to take the cop over to meet the plot. Will something finally happen in this movie? Never mind. I think this is just where the wet bandits hide their ill-gotten gains before fencing them. They head deeper in, and man, I bet they're gonna run into Bruno Mattei filming Shocking Dark down here. Eventually, they find this Geiger counter. At least I think it's a Geiger counter. Could be an old cell phone. They turn it on, and Jesus, they must be right under 3 Mile Island. Hold your breath or something and don't pick up any graphite. Over in our other movie, Mr. McAllister arrives home and his girlfriend has some news.
I'm pregnant.
You're gonna have a baby?
Well, yeah, that's usually the end result of a pregnancy. Didn't you take biology? After more jibber-jabber, it turns out John is super excited about being a dad. Let's hope it doesn't come out half Chud, or Budget Madonna here is gonna have some explaining to do. Speaking of Chuds, it looks like a sewer dweller smells a couple of humans on an evening stroll. Please, for the love of God, let something finally happen in this movie. Oh, a phone booth. Well, worst case scenario, maybe the blob will show up and eat them. After a few minutes of arguing with the movie phone guy, a limited edition Glow Chud stops by. He's gonna reach out and touch someone. Literally. With a dead grandpa and a kindergartner in shock, Captain Bosch ambles into action. He starts off by hauling Daniel Stern to the commissioner's office. Things are really picking up now. I bet we're gonna get another exciting talking scene that drags on for 10 minutes. And I was right. No matter what he and Daniel say though, the city council won't take them seriously. I bet they'll ignore this particular problem until it swims up and bites them in the ass.
You guys wouldn't know the truth if it came up and bit you.
Oh wow, way to steal my line, Marv. Over in Dreadfully Boring movie number 2, George wastes valuable screen time trying to fit his head inside a wine glass. Nice work, Sylvia Plath. Unsuccessful, he's forced to answer some questions from the movie star reporter. Will all of our boring plots ever hook up? He then accuses him of being some sort of furry.
You know you were wearing a tail yesterday?
With that riveting scene over, we head back upstairs. The city council caves after Daniel Stern threatens to show them an early copy of Bushwhacked. Then they talk some more, explaining all the things the audience has already figured out. Come on, movie. And now we go back to the park for more boring dialogue with different characters. Man, the thrills just never stop in Chud. Did they pay the screenwriter by the word?
I want a story.
A story about what?
About the sewer people.
And I gotta say, I'd like that too. 45 minutes into this movie, and we've only seen one grandpa and a dog walker get ganked off camera. After even further jibber-jabber about the cover-up, we finally learn why the movie's been so slow. The script is confidential. Even to the cast, apparently. The city council and Detective Lipbrush then take a field trip. Excellent, they can talk endlessly in a new location. They head inside and find a giant Chipotle burrito to go. Oh wait, it's just a covering for a Chud. I don't know, that guacamole looks off. For some reason, the powers that be believe they found the one and only Chud. Don't they see that there are 3 more reels of this movie left? Captain Lipwarmer here wants to get a bunch of cops into the sewers with flamethrowers to make sure there aren't any more Chuds. It almost sounds like something might happen in this movie. Then this guy pulls rank with the Frank Sinatra gambit.
We're gonna do this my way.
The chief has Captain Bosch take a look at some live footage of the sewers as the EPA heads down, and they're shocked to see the detective send his squad of flamethrower guys anyway. Then we learn why you never bring a camera to a flamethrower fight.
Get those cops out of there.
Your man has a camera. Mine has a flamethrower.
They head in deeper, and man, I bet they're gonna find Ian McCulloch and a bunch of crates of mutant coffee beans down here. The captain then orders his cops to light up. Too bad they're about to get smoked. Since that didn't work, it's time for plan B.
And we just sit around on our thumbs, right?
Hell yeah.
No, not like that, you pervs. He means he feels powerless. Down at the subway platform, McAllister and his new reporter friend get ready to head down to find some Chuds. But first, they need to talk about it for a while. With the movie still refusing to start, they decide to gas the sewers.
We'll seal off every tunnel in the area, divert some of the gas mains back into those tunnels.
I always figured the sewers were gassy enough, but I've been wrong before. Speaking of gas, Marv Stove has none. Which is, I guess, what passes for exciting plot development in this damn movie. He heads underground to find some help, but all he finds is this jump scare.
Wow.
It's the last of his underground friends, and he's trying to get him upstairs to safety. His friend doesn't make it, though. It turns out Marv knows way too much at this point, and this guy is going to try and lock him in.
Wilson!
In the McAllister portion of the movie, the reporter who's been bothering him is trying to sniff out a story, but the Chuds sniff him out first. Wow, something sort of happened. Well played, movie. Then Marv, losing hope, finally finds the title characters. Here we see a group of them congregating around some organ meat. You know, as you do. Marv sneaks up to get a closer look, but his enormous feet betray him. Run, run, as if running away will keep you from starring in Celtic pride. With that excitement happening, let's go back to Kirkland's best Madonna, who's desperately seeking Susan. Or a way into this plot. With nothing else to do, she descends into the sewer tunnel below. Yeah, sure, why not? From there, we cut to a Kids in the Hall sketch. Or maybe this is a cruising outtake. I'm not sure which, and at this point I don't care enough to figure it out. Hey, remember Bosch's missing wife? Turns out she's resurfaced. After getting out of the sewer, Dollar Tree Madonna stops to take the Browns to the Super Bowl. Most of us lift the toilet seat cover, but I'm not here to shame anyone. Meanwhile, a Chud rises up from below. With her colon cleanse complete, it's time for a gratuitous shower scene. Who's gonna bust in first, the MPAA or the Chud? Place your bets now. The drain seems clogged though, so she's getting out a wire hanger. Joan Crawford will be so disappointed right now. Do you kids even remember Joan Crawford and wire hangers? Christ, I'm old. She loosens up the hair clog, and that's a lot of blood for a hair clog. Afterwards, the neighborhood diner is visited by a young John Goodman. I bet he's meeting the dude to talk about getting a tow. You want a tow? I can get you a tow, dude. There are ways. You want to know about it, believe me. But it looks like his dinner is about to be interrupted by some Chuds. Tonight on When Chuds Attack. With Walter already off to that sweet bowling tourney in the sky, the entirety of the NYPD descend upon the diner to exact their revenge on the Chud army. I wonder if his remains will fit in a Folgers coffee can. The boss man decides that it's time to seal off the sewers and let loose some gas. If Robert Forster is still down there, he needs to get out ASAP. Speaking of getting out, McAllister needs to get a move on too if he wants to see the end credits. He climbs up the nearest ladder to find the big ape had to split. It takes guts not to overstay your welcome. And Victor's not looking great either. George gives him the one-gun salute and he almost gets whacked by the bag lady from earlier, but not before Marv shows up to save him. Hey, did you forget about Captain Broods a lot? We all did, but he's back, he's drunk, and he's ready for action.
My wife is dead because of you, you son of a bitch!
The police commence to sealing the sewers and, oh my god, it's another alligator callback. That must be the textbook way to block off the sewers. And after nearly 80 minutes, Discount Madonna has found a Chud. She then runs inside her apartment. I don't know, this doesn't seem like a good time to rearrange the furniture. Back outside, the police continue milling around, and I gotta be honest, I'm suddenly in the mood for some ice cream, Coke, and cheesesteaks, but I have no idea why. And back to McAllister and Marv. They head to the kill floor. Man, everybody's so disconnected down here from the rest of their bodies. With McAllister freaking out, Marv has no choice but to mount him.
Hell yeah.
No, I mean he gets on his back. Wait, that still sounds kinda dirty. They quit the grab assing so that they can call for help using this camcorder. Or maybe Marv's auditioning for the improv. Meanwhile, Not Madonna wishes she lived in an apartment with a fire escape. Looks like her apartment is about to get a little chuddy. Oh, how the tables have turned. Or flipped. This movie's not giving me a lot to work with. In the dark room, she pours some spicy fixatives on him. What a development. Then she waits by the door with Chekhov's saber, but the Chud's ready with the Kool-Aid maneuver. Oh yeah. And now the Chud shows off his favorite party trick. Seems like a bad idea to lengthen your neck when someone's wielding a sword. Man, that was too easy. Maybe the Chud just lost the will to live. I can kind of relate after watching this movie. Captain Bosch calls Marv to catch up. He lets him know that nothing has really happened except John Goodman had a burger and was eaten for dessert. Five Below Madonna heads outside and inexplicably steals a cop car. He's just racking up felonies at this point. Detective Bosch tries to move the truck that's blocking Marv and McAllister's escape from the sewer gas, but Wilson isn't having it. Bosch starts whining about the toxic waste under the city, but let's be honest, it'll eventually turn Jason Voorhees back into a little kid, so it's not all bad. With his words not working, Bosch gives Wilson a taste of his pimp hand. Then he gets to the manhole cover just in time, but Wilson runs up and shoots him. He really doesn't want anyone finding out his sewers are filled with toxic waste, I guess. Good guys then escape the manhole, but Wilson's gonna try to keep them quiet. Permanently. Daniel Stern, fresh off his role as a cop in Blue Thunder, gives him a taste of his marksmanship. The truck then rolls into the open manhole and blows up. I guess Wilson wasn't kidding when he started pumping the sewer full of gas. All this noise wakes up Bosch, who was only mostly dead. With the good guys reunited topside and the sewers burning, the movie just kinda ends. I guess we should assume the explosion killed all the Chuds, but since there's a sequel, they clearly missed at least one. So, what have we learned from Chud? Well, for starters, if you call your movie Chud, you should probably give the Chuds more than 90 seconds of screen time. No one goes to a movie called Chud for the compelling drama. We go for the cannibals. This film definitely fails in that regard. This is a creature feature with far too little creature. But enough about that. Can Chud devour enough humans to earn a 5 barf bag rating? Not a chance, but let's go to the gore card. In terms of gross anatomy, Chud's a mixed bag. We get some severed limbs, some gooey ghouls, an infected leg, eviscerated bodies, and 2 severed heads, but that's about it. The gore is solid when it turns up on screen, but there's just not enough here to justify anything higher than a 2 barf bag rating. This is not a particularly sick flick. Looking for another mutant monster in the sewer? Then be sure to check out my review of Alligator. You'll find a link here on the screen. I'll meet you over there. Until next time, I'm Mike Bracken, aka the Horror Geek, bringing you all the splatter that matters.